he's finally here. I bought 2 because it's always nice to have a spare.
Shall I give you despair?
You know, hopefully no one takes it away.
Give me the pleasure of taking it away.
For some reason, they were shipped in a bag. Hopefully no substantial damage. Here's one. Oh. Is it just me, or is he smaller scale than Cloud? The box is actually smaller, which is not a problem because these are arguably too fat, essentially. I'm gonna get one of them out of the box. That's why I got 2, because the Amiibos, I like them so much that I'm both an out-of-box and in-box collector for the few that I'm collecting. Both of the boxes are slightly bent. See that? This is the worst box. Is there a difference between the figures? Because, you know, sometimes the figures are bent. Something that they did with this figure is that they had the hair, Sephiroth's hair, goes over the sword to sort of stabilize it, otherwise it would bend. And I do wonder if Sephiroth's sword is shorter in this, because it kind of just looks like a normal katana.
It means Japanese sword.
I'll compare them to other figures that I have. Wow. There's a lot of detail on the wing. Ooh. Wow. Look at that. They had to include the wing. I don't mind, of course. It's become quite iconic. It's just that he didn't have it in the original. And Crisis Core sort of ruined the specialness of it. Everyone gets a wing. You get a wing, and you get a wing, and you get a wing. The trio, they should just start a band. The One-Winged Angels.
Wake me up!
Wake me up inside.
I can't wake up!
Wake me up inside.
Save me!
In case you haven't seen an Amiibo in real life before, maybe you've seen a Funko Pop before, and here you have one for size comparison. And this is a fun little team up, actually. If I were to say, okay, there's a video game character with long whitish hair, with mutated cells, slits in his eyes, who fights monsters with a sword, like who am I describing here?
Who's that Pokemon?
Huh? Impossible.
This is one of the things that I love about the Amiibos. They have quite shiny silver details. It almost looks chrome. They do the same with Cloud there. You want to see something cool, by the way? Check this out. While I was setting this up, I put him like this. Like, okay, here we go. And I was like, wait a second. But check out Cloud. This thing is normally, you know, rusty, and in the remake it's kind of blue. And then in the CG cutscenes it's gray again. So it's kind of weird how inconsistent it is. But let's see the height difference now. Sephiroth is slightly taller. In the remake he's, you know, he's like 9 feet tall, and Cloud is like, you know, 5'7" or something like that.
And what if I am?
Look at the top of his head!
I love the colors of the Amiibo. They go really hard in with the original theme, even though Cloud was allegedly never purple. I do like that he is really purple here. So the one thing I notice here with Sephiroth is these brown things right here. See that? Like straps for his shoulder armor thing right there. I've never noticed that on him before. Okay, I just went and looked at my collection and it's there on pretty much all of them. However, they have never been painted before on any of the figures that I have. This might be the 24th Sephiroth figure that I have. This is a keychain from 1997. Although it's hard to see, it is there. And this is a figure from 2020, and it's one of my favorites, and you can see it here too, and it's right there. Looking at this, do you think this sword is too short? This is from Remake. It's only like 1.5 centimeters taller. Let's look at the sword length. Does that add up? I think it's only slightly shorter. This looks longer because of how dramatically he's holding it. I love the pose, it's quite dynamic. Maybe a bit too dynamic because they had to put this thing up his ass. I prefer if they didn't do that, but at least he's stable. I don't know why they felt the need to give him like bags under his eyes, but I think that's my only question mark with this. That and the sword length. We saw the sword length is definitely acceptable. It doesn't look like a knife.
You call that a knife? This is a knife.
But I think that's a good thing. Not only could it fit in the box, there's a less chance of it bending, and there's less chance of it hitting the wall when you're trying to display it, because that's like a consistent problem with my Sephiroth collection, because I have figures of all sizes and all scales and all shapes and whatever with swords pointing all over the place. It's actually hard to display them next to each other and close to a wall, because the sword is just gonna get stuck and get bent up against something, so I don't mind at all. It's funny. This wing, it's beautiful and I love the concept. It's just that, you know, Fucking Crisis Core, man. We can ask now, like, what are these guys thinking right now? Oh, mother, we need to summon the meteor, blah, 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 blah. Okay.
That which lies ahead does not yet exist.
Yeah, I don't know what he's about yet. We'll figure that out, I guess. What he's thinking is, what do angels dream of? Blah. Infinite in the mystery. Blah, 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 blah.
I'm sensing some issues here.
Now that I've finally played Crisis Core, I got the reunion thing, obviously. With a new battle gameplay, it looked fun to play. And it was. But I can now also say with some authority, as someone who's played it and played almost all the missions, that technically, listen to this, technically, Crisis Core cannot be canon in the remake timeline. You know why? Because Yuffie. In intermission, Yuffie acts and talks as if she's never been to Midgar before.
Yeesh, this town's a total dump. I thought Midgar was supposed to be the marvel of the modern world. Talk about false advertising. City of Mako? City of garbage, more like.
She doesn't even know where the Shinra building is.
So the materia I'm looking for is in the Shinra building, right? And where is that exactly?
A building that can be seen from miles away. Maybe even across the world you can see the Shinra building, based on this cutscene from the original. But in Crisis Core, she's in Midgar several times. And she even says in like an email to Zack that she's in the plate, whatever that means. You know, she should know where the Shinra building is if she was in the plate as a 9-year-old. It doesn't add up. Bada bim, bada boom. It's not canon. You know, conflict resolved.
Oh yeah!
You can enjoy Crisis Core. It's something completely different, okay? Go enjoy that somewhere else. I'm just kidding, of course.
I'm sensing some issues here.
Okay, I think it's time to shove him in my collection. Here you see part of my Sephiroth collection. There's only a few figures out of view here. But if you've seen my collection before, this probably looks a lot different. I'll explain at the end why. For the two of you who care. I think it's tempting to put them here, something like that, but I actually have plans for that space specifically. So I was thinking it's gonna fit in pretty good with this one because they're quite similar in a way, and I like putting similar things next to each other. You see, this is one of the problems with when the sword length is accurate, it covers up a lot of stuff. You even see this one, it's hanging over the shelf. I'm gonna put them here, I think. I think that's a good fit because they have the same kind of look and they have the bags under their eyes, which I don't think any of the others have. One last thing to say about the Amiibo, I think the hair is very well done. I like that it's not perfect. There's like strands, they're sticking out where they shouldn't be, and that's something that I'm sort of missing from most of the other figures that I have. So, yeah. And you,
Stay where you belong.
on my shelf.
I will never be on a shelf.
This is the same wall. I was covering it up with like fake planks before, and I thought that looked a little too dark maybe, but still pretty good. The problem I had with them was that they were falling down constantly. They were very heavy and detaching from the wall, and one of the reasons why they did that was because they very substantially expanded and shrunk based on the temperature. That happened almost every day. If it got cold in the night and I tried to heat it up during the day, constantly, then they fell off. Luckily, they never fell off on something and brought something down. So that's why the fake wooden wall is gone. So that was one reason. The other reason was because I needed to expand. Since last time, I recorded a video where I unboxed Jessie and the bike, Play Art Sky, and it was terrible. I had nothing interesting to say. Nothing good really came out of it. I'm happy to have the things that I got, but nothing good on video. But the thing that I realized while filming that was I literally, with those two things, ran out of space. So I needed to expand, so I got another shelf. Now I have two shelves that are both 2.5 meters long, so altogether I have 5 meters of shelves where I've stacked things vertically like this. Okay, so no fake planks and another shelf. That does not explain these ugly things. Before, I had nothing holding these shelves in place, and anybody could literally just grab all shelves with one move and rip them off the wall, and everything would be on the ground. So it is ugly, but it has a purpose. Now you know why this looks so ugly.